Hey guys, it's ANicWin, also known as Amy, and happy Sunday. I hope you're having a lovely day. I am gonna make a very brief, I hope, announcement. Well, you'll see. Okay, so let me just get into it. I'm gonna change my upload schedule. I have a few different reasons for this change, but I'm going to be, instead of uploading on Sundays, I will be uploading on Wednesdays. I It's still going to be one video a week. At this time, I can't do two videos. Um, and one of the big reasons for that is YouTube has very strong opinions on when you should be uploading content and what kind of content you should be uploading. Now, I don't really care what they tell me to upload, because at the end of the day, I'm gonna upload what sparks joy for me. I'm not really worried or concerned what their analytics say in regards to that. But I am a little bit worried about or not worried, concerned, cognizant, that's a better word, of the other component of it. So the analytics, or the algorithm rather, is looking at three different aspects. So they're looking at when is the foot traffic or viewer traffic on YouTube the highest, just in general. And that happens to be Wednesdays, Monday, Friday, and Saturday. They're looking at how consistent am I, the creator, with posting content, and then they're looking at how consistent are my subscribers with viewing my content, like how long are they viewing it, the click rate, all of that stuff. So I can't control one aspect of that. Obviously, I have no control over when people are viewing things or how long they're watching it for, and that's fine. I would not seek control of that. That would be really weird. But I have control over when I post, and because I do have some goals and ideas for growth for this, this channel. They're personal, but I do have some goals. Changing the day is just going to facilitate that a little bit, and I think I'm going to start to see a little bit more payoff with that. Of course, I don't know. It's one of those things you don't know until you try, but that's just kind of the idea there. And then the second reason being, this is a really long-winded explanation, I apologize. But the second reason being, for those of you who know me, I am a full-time employee. I work full-time from home, thankfully, and I am also a full-time student. So right now I'm having to balance classes, homework, work, relationships, everything, and it's fine. I'm not struggling. I don't want to give the impression that I'm struggling or anything like that, but right now the bulk of my work, outside of my actual job, like the videos and my homework and things like that, are being done on the weekends, and I'm going into the work week not really feeling refreshed. And again, it's fine for now, but it's not sustainable for me, because I know myself, and I know that eventually I'm going to hit a wall. So again, that change to Wednesdays, just pushing that release day forward a couple of days, is going to give me the illusion that I have more time to work on this. It's not, of course, we know it's an illusion. It's still the same amount of time between uploads, but it's just going to be more beneficial for me. So that's it. That's the announcement. I didn't know where else to kind of put that. I guess I could have put it in my About Me section, but I just wanted you guys to be aware that change was coming. Change is a coming. Now to the build, the fun part. This is a suburban moment, as I like to say, and it is a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom family home, of course. And as you can see, the color scheme is kind of mint cream. It's going to be black on the inside. On the outside, it's more of a gray brick, just because the truly black brick looks weird to me. Well, it looked weird with the paneling. It just didn't work, trust me. It just didn't work. I am working on the landscaping here. I did not use a reference image for this particular build. Sometimes I use them, sometimes I don't. It just depends on what I'm wanting to do. In this case, I wanted to sort of create a more manicured front lawn, so that as you're viewing it, you kind of know what to expect with what you're seeing, and it's going to create this moment for you to kind of sweep through the landscape, because you've already seen it, and up into the house, and the house will be the main focus. There is a concept or a word for that. Can't think of it at this particular moment, but that was my intention. I have no idea if it worked, but that was my thought process. So if that's what your eye naturally does when you view the screenshot, great, I succeeded. If not, I still think it looks nice. So really, it's a win-win for me, at least. But yeah, so I use the same few plants, even around the outside. I think in total there's, not counting trees, because like a tree, but I think there's 5. So there's the 3 that you're seeing now. I'm not including the low-lying plants. There's the 3 that you're seeing now. I use a fern once we get to the back, and I use that kind of like tall pointy shrub thing. Honest to God, I don't know what the plants are called. I don't read the descriptions of the plants. So I don't know. I don't have the words for them. I could look them up. I'd never remember though. I just know what they look like. It is what it is, y'all. But yeah, so that was my intention here with the front. In the back, you're gonna see it, well, starting on the side and kind of wrapping around the back. It gets a little bit more sporadic, a little bit more natural. And again, that was the intention. It's kind of like a mullet, right? Like it's that whole like business in the front, party in the back thing. Although it's not really a party, it's just more so like, hey, people live here. And then in the back, it's like, but we kind of don't care because you can't see this part. It is what it is what I'm saying. I am, of course, doing my thing with the columns. I think it looks really weird when you don't have anything on the edges, and sometimes the paints or the wall coverings that the game gives you doesn't form the painted column in the correct spot. So I make them myself. And as you saw, I did just combine columns there at the front. I used those seasons columns. And I used something, I forget, I don't know what the other one is, just a standard square column. I think it might be from Get to Work, maybe. Could be base game. I don't really know. But one is just a thicker square white column, and the other one is that seasons one. You pair them together and it hides the bolts on the seasons column. I don't like that look. It makes me very uncomfortable. So, but just kind of layering those together gets rid of the bolts, but you still have the like general aesthetic of the column, which is what I wanted to keep. That's just a little insight into how I view some of the items in the game there. I'm creating this little seating area over to the right there with a bench and some trees. I didn't really know what else to put in that corner, and I didn't want to, I was gonna add like a tree with a little moment around it, but I decided it looked a little too busy, so I added the two smaller trees and the bench, and I liked it. Again, I was trying not to take away from the impact of the home itself in the front yard. And then this is where we're starting to see it kind of loosen up a little. If you heard that, that's my chair. I move a lot when I talk. Like my hands are going nonstop. I have to kind of remind myself to calm down. I'm adding this little stone paver pathway thing. These are from the debug menu, and I love these. They have them in a square shape as well, but they don't look as like natural, I guess. I mean, they don't look natural at all because of the way that they've been placed, but the square ones look like actual pavers. These look like somebody just went to like someone's driveway and picked up all the limestone pieces and took them home, or at least from where I am, that's something you could do. But yeah, so I add this little walkway. There's going to be a tent in between that walkway, and it will continue on. I do sort of cut down some of the landscaping here in the back just because it does get repetitive. I like to add tents to the backyard occasionally. I feel like it's a fun little like thing for the kids to do. I don't ever actually have them sleep in it, but I know like when I was younger, I liked sleeping in a tent in my backyard with my best friend. We would have like full on slumber parties. We'd invite a bunch of people and just sleep in the tents and stuff like that. And no, she's watching. Do you remember that, Tori? Do you remember those days? It's fun to kind of be out in nature in a controlled way, and to scare the absolute bejesus out of each other. So the next night you sleep inside because you're like traumatized low key. Maybe that's just a me thing. But I mean, it's fond memories from my childhood. And I gave them a little fire pit. Of course, they should not interact with that without adult supervision. And then the back here, it's this big open space. I don't fence in the whole thing because I didn't think it was going to look appropriate. Like I don't think you'd fence in the entire yard if your yard was this size. But I do give them a swing set. I was thinking monkey bars at first, but I give them a swing set, and I leave the rest open. My thought is maybe that's a field, just in the back of their home. They've utilized some of it, but they don't really want to put that much thought and maintenance into the rest of it, so they just sort of let it do what it wants to do. And then of course we do have the sort of side fenced in area here. I give them a pool. It's kind of an odd shape, but it works. And then the rest of that yard is just going to be like gardening space, and I give them the little bug things from Eco Lifestyle that you can grow. Is that the word? Harvest, raise, I don't know, like rubs and other buggy things. I don't use that item because it freaks me out. I'm just gonna be honest with you. like in my actual gameplay, I don't touch that unless I'm messing with something in eco lifestyle and I have to. I also give them a grill back here and a little table and just a little place to sit and eat outside if they should choose to. There's some decorative elements I add off camera as well. I don't include everything just because this was a longer video, and honestly, I wasn't having the best time at that little side yard area. I like it. I like the way it turned out, but I don't know. I kind of ran out of creative steam there and just sort of moved on to the inside, and I don't think I revisited it because I just kind of wrote it off. Excuse me, I needed a drink of water. And then we do the front porch very quickly. There's not really anything to do out here. This was mostly just for aesthetics. So you have a little seating area. If you have company, you guys can sit out and enjoy the evening breeze or whatever it is front porch people do. I'm not a front porch sitter, never have been, probably never will be. And then I do kind of include some gardening things here. I imagine someone who lives in this home is probably into gardening in some form or fashion. Just add a few tables. It just looks like a little nice space to kind of entertain and things like that in the outdoor sitting area. I do include this little entryway. I was going to cut this out of the video, but I didn't want to cut too much. So I left the entryway and the landing area upstairs and sacrificed the bathrooms because the bathrooms all just sort of look the same, but of course you'll see screenshots and things like that. This came together really, really quickly. This sort of set the mood for the rest of the build. And I instantly jumped into the kitchen. Now this, you're gonna see it. You're seeing it right now. I do mix and match packs for cabinets and counters. I can't stop doing it. I like the way it looks. I like the different textures. I'm very uncomfortable now with keeping cabinets and counters from the same pack and not mixing. I don't know why. I'll probably get over that and go back to using items from the same pack eventually. But it just, I don't know. This feels very nice. It sparks joy for me, guys. It just does. I also give them some floating shelves because although there are several cabinets and counters in the build, I feel like for a household this size, storage, there's just never enough of it. Like, right? Like you just need more. So I thought floating shelves would be a realistic problem solving technique for needing more storage in a space that you obviously can't just, redo. At least not easily, not if this was real life. So I'm adding some decorative elements, of course. The clutter that sparks so much joy for for everyone else. I do kind of try to keep that same color scheme of the mint, the cream color, and the black through all of the clutter items. Of course, there are some other pops of color, like you'll see the yellows. I think there's a little splash of red. I can't really remember. We'll see in just a moment. You'll see the yellows. I did pop in a warmer tone as well, just to kind of play off of the cream color as well, because I didn't want it to be too cool toned, if that makes any sense whatsoever. I'm not sure if it does, but that was just kind of my thought process in that aspect. I am doing a little coffee bar here with the microwave. I don't honestly use the microwaves in gameplay a lot either. I forget that we have them, so when I remember them, I include them in the builds. And I'm just adding clutter here to this cabinet piece. This is my favorite cabinet piece. Is it even a cabinet? Yeah, the cabinets are the uppers. It's my favorite cabinet piece. I like that it's got the little mug hook thing at the bottom. I wish we just had stuff to actually hang on it, but maybe one day. This will be the sink and the fridge area. And then as you can see, there are these sort of bar area. I do put bar stools there that you can kind of eat at. I did not play test that. I don't know if it works, and you'll see in just a second. I'll point it out. I did a little trick that my friend Miss Simrino kind of showed me that she does with the desk. I just kind of repurposed it for a different item, and I don't know if that's gonna block or cause any routing issues because there's an 8-sim dining set in this room as well, so you don't really need to eat at the bar. I just wanted to include it for the look, and we're about to come up to that. I'm just adding a little bit more clutter. I didn't want anything to be too open since it was a white countertop. And then this, so I add this bookshelf. This isn't the trick, although that might prevent routing issues as well. But I take this ice cream machine, I place it on the counter, size it down, and then lift it up so that it looks more like storage. Those items, the small kitchen appliances, clip to the countertops, and you can't put them on anything else without cheating. So I wanted it to look like we had it, it's ready, it can be pulled down for storage, but I didn't want it to look like it was actively in use. That was what I was going for. And then this is sort of the dining section of the room. So I do include it all in one space. It's easily dividable. I could have put up a wall, put up another archway there, and it could have been two separate spaces, but I decided not to do that. I like the idea that it would all be in one, because I don't think this family is particularly formal. Maybe they are. In my head, they're not though. So the way that you could play it, if you want that more formal space, again, you could just add a wall. It would not be too difficult to do. Excuse me. And then I do add some hanging plants above the table instead of adding a plant just on the table. I thought that was a nice little element to add, and I really like the way that it looked and the way that it turned out. I am, of course, creating a reading nook. That's just kind of like my signature thing, I've been told at this point. I do love a good reading nook. They spark joy. They just look cozy, they look happy, and if I could, I would have reading nooks in every corner of my house, but here we are. I give them the Don't Wake the Llama table in the living room. I actually never include this in any of my builds. It's just not an item I reach for, so I remembered we had it and I wanted to kind of utilize it since it was on the forefront of my brain. And then we jump into the actual living room section of the living room. Now, my living rooms are typically smaller. I'm sure you guys have noticed. I don't really do big, large, open living rooms. And that's just, I don't really use them in my game. And by that I mean I don't include a TV in any of my personal builds that I use. And if I download one, I delete the TV. So it's really just a room for an aesthetic. It's never really a used space in my gameplay. So that's just kind of why I do that. Every now and then I'll change it up and I'll add like a huge living room into the build just to kind of switch things up. But typically, more often than not, I just don't. Now this is going to be the grandparents' room, and I have not talked about this family at all. I apologize. So this is a couple that lives here with their 3 children, and one of the couple's mother lives with them. Now she is an elder technically, but I don't want you to think, oh, she's, incapacitated, she's sick, she's whatever. I think it's more for companionship. I think her husband, or well, I know because I made them, but her husband has passed away. She's moved in here not to be looked after, but really just for the companionship. She wants to be around her grandkids, around her child, around everybody. She doesn't want to be isolated. So that was her room. And then we are moving on up to the landing. So the rest of the family, like I said, it is a couple. I don't know. Well, it doesn't really matter the way that I decorated. I have made them by the time you watch this, but I haven't made it at the time of the video. So I'm not sure if they're going to be male and female couple, like a traditional couple, or if it will be something else. We'll see. We'll see how it takes, or what form it takes. But they will be up on the gallery, available for download at the same time as the build. So you'll know before I know. Plot twist. So I'm just working on the landing. The rest of the family, if you see that room to the left, is going to consist of a child sim and a toddler sim. In my head, they're closer in age than the game would have it appear. And then the room to the left of that is going to be their teenage daughter. She's the only one at this juncture that I know for sure what gender they will be. She was actually the sim that I saw the most clearly when I started to build this home. I won't say she's like the inspiration point, but I don't know. I just was very aware of what kind of teenager would live here, if that makes any sense. It probably doesn't. But this is the child's room. Now I typically don't carry a color scheme through the bedrooms. That's very uncomfortable for me to do, but I wanted to challenge myself to do it here, and I like the way that it turned out. It was a nice challenge to stay within the parameters of the cream, the black, and the mint for children's bedrooms. It was just something I hadn't done before, and I don't know, it was fun. Another thing I want to point out here, I did size down that dollhouse, and then I used the OMSP shelf to add toys on top of it just to kind of make it look a little bit more used. That will block the dollhouse. You won't be able to use it. You'll have to move those toys before you can use it. But I really just like the way that it looked. Because I was definitely that kid that would leave my toys out in position at the ready, and I would get offended if someone would move them. Like, I was mid-story. Don't touch them. But that's just me. That's the kind of kid that I was. And yeah, so this room came together fairly quickly. It is the only room where it's a shared space between two independent personalities other than the master space. Of course, you know, the couple share. And then this is the teenager's room. Her room, it just came together so easily for me. I think there's only one aspect that I changed after placing it. You'll see it because I changed it on camera. But I don't know. Sometimes things just work so well and they come together so quickly. It's almost like it's not even you building it, if that makes sense. You're just sort of putting things down, and that was one of these spaces. I think she's just a really cool, aware teenager. Like, she's artistic, yes, but she's also a very aware of like social causes and her presence in the world. And so she's got the ally flag because it's Pride Month, and of course I wanted to represent that, but I also think that that's a social cause that she's the most passionate about. Like, equality is at the forefront of her brain for sure. And I gave her the little protesting sign that looks like a equality sign, and I just feel like she's just gonna make waves in her little Sims community. I have the hiccups, I'm sorry. But yeah, I really enjoyed creating her room. I could see her very clearly in like my head of what she would maybe look like, what she would do, what she would be like, and I think she would be a really fun sim to kind of play through her storyline with. And of course her room is just pretty, in my opinion. I think she's got a really pretty room. Excuse me, I'm struggling now. Here in just a moment, we're gonna pop into the master bedroom. And this is actually where I'm going to leave you guys. Just as a brief reminder, I will be posting another video on Wednesday. It will probably be shorter. And then moving forward, it will be Wednesdays ongoing. I will also still be posting on Instagram, the screenshots and things like that. So if you want to check that out, feel free. You can also leave a comment or a like down below if you would like to. You can also subscribe if that's something that would spark joy for you. I appreciate the patience and understanding, guys. In the meantime, I hope you have a lovely rest of your day and a lovely week, and I will see you very shortly. Bye, guys.
Their mess. Yeah, you might not be at your best, but it's fine. I don't mind telling truths when you need to hear them, and be kind when that's what you prefer. How about when you can't see a way out, help you fight and let you know that don't take this the wrong way. I'm on your side through the worst days. I just have to say I miss my best friend, seeing her smile. Still, I don't mind telling truths when you need to hear them, and be kind when that's what you prefer. How about when you can't see a way out, help you fight and let you know that it won't always be this way. You will get there someday, babe. Feel the sun on your face, visit Paris or Broadway, and chill out on Sundays. Stop, just hold on a minute. This part is nearly finished. You'll get a fresh start.